Hello there, it's been a while, but I am back in action, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Rainbow Kipper by Tony Pula and Stephen Bright. And the Kipper cards are very special to me because I think after tarot, they're my most cherished form of divination, and I don't get to use it that much because Kipper is all about fortune telling. I primarily use tarot as a means of reflection, whereas Kipper is completely about, some people may beg to differ, but Kipper is very chatty, Kipper is very gossipy, Kipper is very fortune-tellery, which I love. Now, my best tarot friend Martin over at Tarot in the City actually gifted me an original Kipper cards deck, and it's really fun. It's got that that old vibe that I love the scenes. Kipper cards are very peoply, whereas Lenormand is more symbolism and objects. Kipper is very peoply. Kipper is very much about directionality. Kipper is very direct, very harsh, where we sometimes see, I'm just gonna say it, people from across the pond butchering European divination methods by terrorizing everything, pun intended. There's absolutely no way you can do that with Kipper. And I will show you in a bit. Also, to be quite frank, do you really need more than one Kipper deck? You really don't. Kipper, as well as Lenormand, you basically only need one deck because it is that straightforward. You don't even really need imagery. You could just have the cards and the titles, and that will be it. That will be more than enough. This is not about divining, scrying from imagery. This is all about knowing and using your actual intuition to tie the story together. So, but more on that later, or maybe not. We'll just see how it goes. So the box you get is very small and lovely. I like it a lot. I love the box design. I love the font. The box has a really nice matte finish to it, and it opens up like this, like a little book, and then inside you get some information about the author. So Tony Pula is from England, and she's all about that Lenormand, Kipper, and Gypsy cards, which is really great because she actually knows what she's talking about. So that's really amazing. And then we have Stephen Bright, also from the UK, who did the Spirit Within Tarot, published by Schiffer. It's a very popular tarot deck. You must have seen it. Not my personal favorite. I did see images of him, of an old male, more homosexuality based tarot deck that he's working on, homoerotic maybe even. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I really love that. Spirit Within felt a little flat to me. However, it is beloved by the community. So you get this guidebook, and then this is where the cards would normally be, but I've already taken them out. And it's your standard Schiffer red feather affair. Really cute, really nice. Also, as with most Schiffer decks, the guidebook is great. So if you want to learn how to read Kipper and you have no clue where to start, the original Kipper deck, I think it does come with a little white booklet. Martin just sent me this copy in a little baggie because, as far as card meanings goes, there's usually, most cards very much speak for themselves. But what they've done in this deck is very interesting. They have color-coded the cards. So it starts with, and I've put the cards in numerological order, but it starts with the green cards, which are all the people. Then we have, let me look this up really quickly. Then we have The red, which is the stop cards. Now, this is interesting because to me, there's only one stop card in the deck, and it doesn't really seem to be here. So the way I was taught how to read Kipper is different from the way Tony has been taught. And that's really cool because in Germany, there's so many like little regions and municipalities where they will read Kipper differently from other regions. And it's really interesting to learn other ways. So these, to me, I get why they chose red for stop. But for me, these are not the stop cards, so that's really interesting. There's only one stop card in the way I read Kipper. So that's interesting. I wonder why and how, but we're gonna read all about it later, not on camera. Then we have the blue cards, which are all about movement. Oh, okay. Okay, so the stop cards, this is interesting. I'm still gonna kind of do it on screen. Okay, so she does kind of read it as a stop, or when there are a lot of red cards clustered together, it will describe a situation that is not moving. The pace is very slow. Okay, fair enough. Blue are all the movement cards, so you get your change, you get your journey, you get your gift, you get your long way. So that's interesting. Pink are connectors, connections between people, and I love the way the illustrations show that, so that's interesting. So we have marriage, convene, court official, and short illness, so that's interesting. Yellow is cause and effect. Okay, really interesting. So we have dishonesty, sad news, fatality. Now this is my stop card. So when I do the way I read Kipper readings with the MasterCard method, where you use the full deck, it's really interesting, and I'm going to show it to y'all. Whenever the fatality or death card comes, or the coffin card, or whatever you want to call it, when that comes up, I don't read that card. That just means the reading stops, and all the cards that are laid out on the table are the cards that we are going to read. So that's interesting. The theft card and the expectation card, Gloomy Thoughts. And then there's some more information, so that's really cool. Some example readings. So it's a really great guidebook. And obviously, Tony uses a different method of reading and teaches a different method of Kipper reading than I have been using so far. But this is going to be a very interesting learning situation for me. Now, the cards are very small, so as I'm going to flip through them so you can see, which isn't going to last long because, as I said, the imagery is not that important. I will have some notes here and there. First, interesting fact, the main character cards are kind of colorless, which is a great idea because they don't really have a meaning in the deck as far as it goes. It's more like the main character is you, the other main character is your significant other or partner. So Kipper decks are also pretty great for relationship readings. And what I also really like is if you want to do same-sex readings, there's another guy. I think he's hotter with his beard and his man bun, but maybe that's just me. Now, what I wanted to say is I really love the artwork in this deck when I compare it to the Spirit Within Tarot, because there's a bit more depth to the illustrations. It's kind of got that vintage shabby chic look, which I absolutely love. So it's the main character choose, so that will be two females. And like I said, a little bit more depth, a little bit more texture, and I love that. So then we have marriage. Then we have convene, which I know as meeting, but like it's different. Titles can differ. It's just the way they've decided to translate it from German. We have the good Gent, and we have the good lady. Then we have the letter. We have dishonesty, and I love the color patterns. We have change. We have the journey, very modern, very much updated imagery. We have win lots, which I know as winning much money, but you know, same difference. We have the rich girl and we have the rich gent. We have sad news. We have good outcome. We have his thoughts. We have the gift, the infant, fatality. So that's my personal stop card in the way I read Kipper. We have the house. We have the living room. We have the military person. We have the court, theft, high honors, great fortune. I really love the depth in these designs and the texture and the shabby chic vintage feelings. Unexpected money, expectation, prison, court official, short illness, sorrow, gloomy thoughts, work, a long way, and hope, great water. So that's what the deck looks like. It is gilded in silver. One thing that did annoy me a little bit is the way it's cut and gilded. It's cut and gilded in a way where it sticks together at the top. So when I first got it, I was kind of like, meh. It's another one of those shiffer decks, and I have damaged, or red feather, that's what it is nowadays, and I have damaged some red feather decks before. As you can see, the backs are not reversible. Let me tell you why, because you don't read reversals in Kipper. So interesting. So I'm gonna zoom us back out, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about a method of reading Kipper. All right, so we're zoomed out. So the MasterCard method. I'm already shuffling my deck. This is really stupid. The MasterCard method works with an X amount of cards that are considered MasterCards. I have them here on my cheat sheet. I always keep this cheat sheet out whenever I do a Kipper reading. Sometimes people will slightly puncture the cards that are MasterCards or put a little dot next to it, but I don't like that. I don't like modifying my decks too much, so I just keep this cheat sheet right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 MasterCards, and these cards matter when you do this reading. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I got this type of reading from Kelly at The Truth and Story, and she got it from this German kid named Mikhail, and his family has been reading Kipper for ages. So I'm just gonna put this to the side, and generally during shuffling you would think of a question. So hypothetically, what if the person that wanted to get a Kipper reading from me wanted to know how this relationship is gonna go with this guy she's met, because you know she's kind of been struggling a little. So how is this relationship gonna go? This deck shuffles amazingly well. Let me show you how well it riffles. And then we're gonna lay out the cards. Now, the MasterCard method can be tricky to sell as a reading because you could end up with one reading, with one card, and the reading can be done. I did one for myself earlier where I asked what a certain project was gonna end up looking like for me, and I got the death card, which in this MasterCard reading method means stop. So when you pull the MasterCard death, it just means stop this reading right now. And if you just pull that, to me, that's a signal of the universe saying, hey, this is not meant for you. So what you do is, for the MasterCard reading, you pull 3 cards off the top, you lay them down, and if the top card is a MasterCard, you pull it and place it down here, but it's not. So let's pull the next 3 cards. This is always very, very exciting. Oh, this is a MasterCard. It is the main character, and I should have left 2 males in there because I am attracted to men, but we're gonna put this down there. We're gonna put this down there. Oh yeah, and we're doing a hypothetical reading for this female client. So you pull the MasterCard off the top and then the card that comes after. If the card that comes after is also a MasterCard, then you pull another one until you get a card that's a non-MasterCard. But the good outcome card is not a MasterCard. So then we continue. Let's see. It's a little bit sticky. That's because of the shiffer gilding. 24 is not a MasterCard. I'm going to go through this a little bit more quickly. His Thoughts is a MasterCard. So we're going to lay down another row. High Honors is a MasterCard. Long Way is not. All right. Then we're going to go through to the next 3. The Letter is not a MasterCard. Living Room is not a MasterCard. Sticky, Sticky, Shiffer Gilding. Court is not a MasterCard. Journey is not a MasterCard. Prison, also not a MasterCard. See, we're burning through this deck like crazy. Gloomy Thoughts, also not a MasterCard. Rich Girl, also not a MasterCard. It seems like almost like this is 2 cards, but I'm guessing it's not. Gift, also not a MasterCard. Now, what you want to do is go through the deck again, because we did take some cards out. So 1, 2, 3. Short Illness, not a MasterCard. Sorrow, not a MasterCard. House is a MasterCard. So we get House, we get Great Fortune, and we get Theft. Why did I pull another one? Because Great Fortune is also a MasterCard. Convene, also a MasterCard. Win Lots, also a MasterCard. Letter, not a MasterCard. You see, and all of a sudden the reading progresses. Rich Gent is not a MasterCard. Change, not a MasterCard. I've just flopped these off to the side, which is very rude of me. I'm very sorry. I know you guys want to see it. Marriage is a MasterCard. I'm gonna have to put them to the side, guys. Marriage, and then we get Good Gent, which is not a MasterCard. Expectation, which is a MasterCard. So, you know, like we started with being like, meh, is this all? And all of a sudden, it has changed into a pretty big tableau. Is it a grand tableau? It's not. However, we pulled Expectation, which means we get expectation and we get unexpected money, and that's where the chain stops. Infant is not a MasterCard. Hope Great Water is not a MasterCard, and then we have one left, and that's also not a MasterCard. So this is the whole reading. So this relationship with this guy feels like it may not be going anywhere. So how is this, like, how's this gonna go? Well, right now we have our main character, which is our female, who is asking this question to me, and we have the good outcome. So it is looking favorable, which you know is fun. Then in the second row, we have his thoughts, high honors, and long way. What this is telling me, how I would interpret that, his thoughts is about a male figure who is thinking a lot, thinking good, kind thoughts about you. It's actually really interesting. Tony Poulet really had a great description in this guidebook that I would like to kind of read a little bit of. Full of affection and reflection, showing the thought process of those we love. So I'm kind of guessing that his thoughts are with you, but he's also working very hard to maybe, you know, graduate, finish up a process that is costing him a lot of effort, and it's going to take a while for you guys to get together where you need to be. But what I'm also getting is that, you know, the loving thoughts are there. And then we have house, great fortune, and theft. So you guys really do seem to be going towards that situation where you are kind of thinking about coming together and building a safe place together. And there is great fortune on the way. So there's a lot of positivity here, but it's gonna take a while. And then we have theft, which I kind of see it is a cause and effect card, but I kind of like see it as interference. It may also literally be someone's going to break into your house, but it could also be a little bit more metaphorical, where it's kind of like, you know, there's going to be some push and pull, some interference, maybe some other girl or guy, you know, like it's 2021, let's get into it. That may be pulling his attention away from you, but ultimately there is a meet up, and it looks very favorable. Literally, money's gonna come in, letter leading to marriage. To me, seems like, you know, wedding bells are ringing. Let's send out the invitations. And then here we have the good gent, friendly spirit that is going to kind of guide you to and bring you two together. So, interesting. Expectation kind of is an interference card, and it's interesting because expectations can be, you know, can be very high. Could also be, to wrap this up nicely, are you maybe, are the two of you really ready to act on what it is you want, or is it just going to be something you guys have been dreaming about? If you are actually going to act, there will be some unexpected money even coming in. So some riches coming into your life. What is kind of interesting here is that we are seeing a lot of reds. So this whole process of, you know, him thinking about you, but also being busy with other stuff, some interference going on, but ultimately trying to get together and eventually even marry, it is going to take a lot of time. Expectations, always looking out, never looking in, is something that I would kind of be a little bit wary about, also because I did talk about, you know, theft, which to me more felt like another party trying to steal a young man. So, you know, like it takes two to tango. So don't know if it's always going to be maybe the unexpected money is going to come from a divorce, who knows. But anyways, so that's how the MasterCard method works, and it's really interesting. Sometimes, like I said, it can be like this, a big spread. Sometimes it's a very small spread. Sometimes it's just a death card. I was like, okay, stop. You're not supposed to get any information about this right now. So, lovely little deck, great card stock. the Rainbow Kipper by Tony Poulet and Stephen Bright. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Kipper is a really interesting divination system. Easy to learn, easy to pick up. It's the divination of the peoples. It's even way more interesting than Lenormand because you don't even buy the card titles. You can't, like I said earlier, terrorize it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and bye-bye.